we'll just go over the concepts that we talked about in this video, and we'll see how they apply to these hands. Okay, so this is us with 6-7 suited. We're in the small blind. We get a limp, and then another limp. Now here I don't like to raise because we're out of position. We want to basically play this as a drawing hand, so we want to keep the pot small and we want to keep everybody in, so we can get the most money out of these players if we do hit. So I think calling is best here. You can raise, I mean it's not terrible, but particularly against very loose and bad players, all you're doing is just cutting down your implied odds. If you raise to 1 and everyone calls, you basically just reduce the effective stack size, which doesn't really make a great deal of sense. If you do raise, you have to have kind of a decent idea that these guys are going to fold, which in this situation, particularly at 25mm, is probably not going to happen. So anyway, so we just call, and the big blind checks. So we see the flop, which is Ace King 6. So we have a pair plus a flush draw. Now, when you think about, even before we act, we have to think about what's going to happen. In this situation, we have quite a strong hand, but if the turn comes a blank, we don't have the best hand. So in this situation, I think it's best to, in this situation, I think it's good to lead in this situation, because it's a difficult flop for them to hit because no one raised pre-flop, so it's quite likely that no one has a really strong ace or a strong king. We have a decent amount of outs. We have 6s as outs, we have 7s as outs, and we have clubs as outs. So we have sort of, 2, 4, 5, like 14 outs sometimes, which is a huge amount, obviously. So we want to try and bet and try and get everyone to fold, but we're also betting because it's a semi-bluff, because on the turn, our hand will be very well disguised, particularly if we hit a 7 or a 6. Our hand will be very well disguised, and it would be very easy to extract against a strong ace or maybe a medium king. If we do hit the flush, aces will come along as well. It's not unreasonable for a hand like King 6 or I don't think Ace King is in this hand, but if an ace sort of hits 2-pair on the turn, they will come with us as well. So in this hand, I bet just a bit over half pot. I think I'd probably bet closer to the pot these days. I think it's probably better to do that, just because it gives us a bit more fold equity, because it's a bit more for them to call, and it gives them slightly less correct odds to call with any hand that they might want to call with. So we get one out, and then we get another one out. That happens a lot as well. If you tend to lead flops, most people, particularly at 25mm, will just fold if they have nothing. This isn't the easiest flop for them to hit with 2 overcards, given that no one raised pre-flop. It's more likely that they have a hand like, Queen 10 or sort of, pocket 5s or whatever.